I'm Diane Degnan of United Methodist Communications, and my guest today in the Digital Lounge is the go-to guy for everything from airport greeting to volunteer training. It's a big job, but one that Bill Haden, chair of the host committee, was happy to take on. Welcome, Bill, and thanks for joining us at a really busy time.
Thank you, Diane. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So has it been pretty exciting to see all this hard work finally come to fruition and people are actually coming into the convention center and all of it's beginning to happen?
Yes, we, or at least some of us, arrived here a week ago to begin on-site preparations of our activities. But it's true that particularly in the last 2 days, as the delegates have begun to arrive in large numbers, the energy level rises and people do get very excited.
So how did you end up with this job and how did you prepare yourself for it?
I began by serving as a member of the host team when jurisdictional conference was held here in 2008. And some bishop must have been watching because about 6 years ago, Bishop Hoshibata, then serving the Oregon-Idaho Annual Conference, invited me to his office to talk. And the talk centered on serving as chair of the host committee. I accepted that. He offered me the invitation to travel to Tampa to observe the General Conference in 2012, and so I had the privilege of watching behind the scenes there the work that had to go on, and the folks there were great in terms of their hospitality for me, and it gave me a good signal about the kinds of things that we really needed to focus on.
So when you started this work, what really was your objective? What was your big takeaway from Tampa and what you wanted to achieve?
Well, my big takeaway from Tampa was clearly that the project or this work was quite intensive and also quite complex. A tremendous range of activity, things that we might not think about, not just airport greeting, but transportation within the community, and answering questions. At the end of the day, answering questions and guiding people, I think, was a key. And if you underlay that with the general notion that we wanted folks coming to Portland to experience the Northwest and to experience what we call extravagant hospitality.
Well, I hear you have about 1,000 volunteers. That's more volunteers than there are delegates. How did you come up with so many?
Well, it turns out that the number is a little less than that. More than 900 actually signed up to do things, and I know for certain that more than 600 are actually engaged in activities. We did, I think, two things. We worked extensively with the annual conferences of the Western jurisdiction to get the word out that we were welcoming members of those annual conferences to come here and be volunteers. As a result, we have volunteers here from Alaska, from Arizona, from California, from all of the annual conferences of the West. That's been a big key to this. Many of the volunteers are from, the Portland metropolitan area or from Vancouver, Washington. So we have mixed the two annual conferences that are in Bishop Hagia's jurisdiction, his episcopacy. But it's great to have these people come. There's a volunteer and mission team here from Southern California that came up here with the ability to move in and keep themselves self-sufficient. And I think there are 10 of them here, and they're doing great work. So it's been this willingness to be engaged. Members of my immediate cadre of leaders have been out speaking at annual conferences throughout the jurisdiction to make sure that people have the message about being volunteers. We use the same software system that they used in Tampa to record and schedule and line up people to come and work. So it's been a complex task, but I've had the privilege of working with an amazing team. There are 25 people who have been working intensively for the last 4 years to get this going. For the last 6 months, we've been meeting once a month, and for the last 2 months, we've been meeting every other week. But there's just a lot of activity going on to make this happen.
Well, I know when I came into the airport yesterday, I was greeted with signs and smiles, and someone even escorted me all the way to the train and made sure I got on the train. And then once I got to the convention center, there were people here to point me wherever I needed to go. So I've been the recipient of some of that extravagant hospitality, and I can tell you it's really appreciated. What are some of the things that folks are doing?
Well, it is a wide range. You've named some, the ones that are, I think, most evident because they tend to touch the lives of nearly everybody who's come to General Conference. But we are also working to help provide volunteers for the prayer room through the work that the upper room has engaged in, and that's a big volunteer assignment. And there are people at the hotels where delegates and other guests are staying to ensure that questions there may be answered. And those green vests, those ubiquitous green vests, are everywhere. I would say to you that it's hard to be in this building and not be in sight of a green vest. You may have noticed the little pop-up stands that people are moving around the open spaces here, and it's really to have a resource to answer questions and to give people good advice.
Well, they're all doing a great job, and I hope that you've got a vacation planned because you've done a lot of work.
Well, I will tell you that May the 21st looks attractive, but I think the key thing here is to have this be a positive experience for everybody. That's our objective.
Well, thank you. And on behalf of all of those who are experiencing and benefiting from the great hospitality, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for dropping by. And I want to say thank you to all of you who are joining us on the Digital Lounge. Please come back for more interviews with folks behind the scenes. Thank you.
Thank you.